The Jamie and Chris Don't Be an Idiot podcast. The Jamie and Chris Don't Be an Idiot podcast.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Jamie and Chris show. Hey, it looks like it's just a show by myself. My friend Chris didn't seem to be able to make it. Wait,
I'm here.
I didn't even know you were there. What the heck?
I got this great new device that we can talk about later.
Like you were invisible. I had no idea. Yeah. So what are we talking about today? You know, it seems like
we are talking about invisibility today because I saw a news story recently that said scientists are now talking about how invisibility is becoming a real thing.
Okay.
And so just kind
a real thing for everyone. Like there could be other people in this room, and I don't know it.
Could be right, exactly. Well, not quite yet. We're getting there. Okay. Step by step, and so obviously science is built on little landmarks along the way, and So, anyways, let's start by talking about how light works. Okay.
All right.
So light bends. We're talking about refraction. So light bends when it passes through materials.
Sure.
That's called refraction.
Yeah,
We know when you like stick your leg in like a pool or something, you see, your leg is like off on an angle.
Yeah.
Different
or it looks
from
smaller or
right?
bigger or
Right.
yeah.
It gets distorted.
Right.
And so refraction isn't equal. Different colors bend differently. And so that's how we get prisms.
Right. Sure.
So there are a number of different things that go on here. So like when light is going through glass, you can see it like sometimes you can see it like breaking up. That's how you get the different colors of the rainbow of the prism.
Yeah, right.
And it's interesting because when it goes straight, it just continues to go straight. But when you go on an angle, that's when you actually get the prism. So anyways.
And it's funny, like I've noticed on like prisms, the more, the different direction you are, the different view you're getting. So Is this material somewhat like that?
Yeah, so we're talking about a number of different materials.
Oh, okay.
And so anyways, so that's kind of like the negative, like the use of refraction. So normal refraction bends like predictably. It's kind of like nature has its own way of calculating different things.
Okay.
But
so nature can do this too?
Nature does this. That's how we get prisms. And your leg looking weird in the water and stuff. And
sure.
So negative refraction bends it the wrong way for how nature plans to do it. And that's where humans get involved in making materials that can do different things with it. And so zero refractive index is what you call when you're like going straight on and nothing happens. It's
okay. So it's just a direct view. It's like looking through glasses.
Right, exactly. So, but a true cloaking goal is to be able to wrap an object and not be able to see it.
Right.
So light flows around it. So when we talk about invisibility, we're not talking about drinking some potion and like your body is just like invisible. But what really happens is light comes in, comes to your body, hits the cloak, and then the cloak moves the light around your body and continues consistently on the other side of you so nothing gets distorted and everything.
Sure.
And that's the challenge. You need some very perfect nanotechnology to make this happen, to make sure that things don't get distorted.
Mm-hmm.
So engineers are using what are called metamaterials now.
Okay.
And these are engineered materials.
So man-made.
Man-made, yep, that man is making to build and bend and redirect waves.
Okay.
And this can be light, could be seismic, it could be audio waves, sound waves.
What about infrared stuff?
Infrared goes in with the light rays.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, all kinds of waves can be bent using the right materials. Different materials for different uses. But so there have been scientific breakthroughs where light follows paths. Almost, if you kind of think, if you had and hopefully the scientific community doesn't get offended by me explaining it this way. If you had like a million tiny mirrors, it's like it bounces from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. But these are actually like These are like translucent types of materials
Sure.
that take a refract, that take a refract, that take a refract.
This
that
kind of
shoot
reminds
out
me
the
of
other side.
like, like the old James Bond movies and things like that when it was like lasers are hitting everywhere.
Right.
And then they're using all their mirrors to get through and make sure they don't hit this laser or... Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. And
Yeah.
so this is like, real life imitating art. And
So this is like FBI stuff. This is like top secret.
This is like, this
So
is
don't tell anyone out there that this
top-notch
is going
security
on.
stuff, right?
Definitely don't like and subscribe, and definitely don't comment because
Just
we're trying to
between
keep
you
this
and us.
just between you guys and us. You know.
So there's a South Korean company that's built a rubber-like cloak that kind of bends the light around an object.
Okay. So is this something you can like put over you?
Yeah,
and
that's
then-
the idea. And that's
Wow.
the idea for people.
I want it.
For buildings.
I want it.
For planes, whatever. Anything. Drones.
I always want to be invisible.
Right? And
Yep.
some of the stuff actually works for radar. And, just shrinks the visible light around and moves it around an object with nano precision.
Huh,
So,
okay.
very cool stuff. So some of the real prototypes that are out there, there's one from a dozen years ago or so called the Rochester Cloak.
Okay.
And this is a technology that uses 4 lenses, and it's very effective in moving light around objects. And I saw technology. I saw like an example, and you could see like very clearly. You could see right through an object and see what's on the other side. So that's
Okay.
pretty cool. But those are 4 mirrors. You can't exactly wear like 4 layers of mirrors in that respect.
Well, you could.
because it's
You'd be
also-
like Madonna at a gala or whatever,
Yeah,
with
right.
some mirror suit on.
Some kind of swag or
Yeah.
something going on. So then there's a Canadian company called HyperStealth.
Uh-huh.
They have a product called Quantum Stealth, which is a paper thin product like plastic that can wrap around things. And
Okay.
so that's really taken that nanotechnology, those microcarbon fibers, to a big level where it can really be effective. And some of the examples that you and I have seen are very convincing.
Sure.
So some of the things, not so much, right? I mean, in certain things, some of their examples, it's like, well, if you're looking straight on, you don't see an object. But if you go on an angle, you get different things.
Is this how they made the Statue of Liberty disappear?
Yeah,
you remember that when
Is that David Copperfield?
David
Yeah.
Copperfield, did he have one of these things up there? He knew about this stuff before us.
Yeah, it could have been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was floored. I was like,
green
no
screen
way,
effect.
it's gone. I'm like, they gave it back to the French.
Right. After 100 years.
Yeah.
So, so their product, the HyperStealth, their technology blocks infrared.
Okay.
It blocks UV, which would be great for the sun, right? If you like to hang outside.
Right. I like to get a good tan,
and,
but I wouldn't have to get a good tan.
And a company in Texas just got licensed to build some technology, some invisibility technology. And there are also thoughts like maybe surgeons can use this type of technology for surgical gloves.
Right.
So this way, like when you're working on like a fine little thing, your hands are in the way. But if your hands weren't there and you could see right through them, that'd be a huge improvement for medical technology. I would think.
Seems like
Right?
it would be. Yeah.
So anyways,
then how would you know what your fingers are doing?
that's one thing I was thinking. It's like, well, how do you know exactly where your fingers are?
Like,
right?
damn, I can't
It's
put my
like,
finger on this because I can't see it.
if I go like this, the thing moves. I
Right,
guess.
right. That would be like,
Yeah.
I mean, just a thought,
Just like if you're like, using the tweezers to grab something, right?
Right, right.
You need to know where the head of the tweezers is
Right.
as well as your object, right? That you're going after. So, but you never know. I mean, maybe there's a little thumbnail or something, like whatever those.
You
things.
could make
Not a
it like
thumbnail,
video gloves, like
right.
like the Samsung flip phone, like
Right.
how they made it. Maybe they can make the material out of that. I don't
make
know.
that?
I was just yeah.
Could put just like a little dab of something that's not, the nano carbon fiber type stuff.
Right, right.
So you can kind of just see your 2 dots. That's where your fingers
Right,
are.
sure.
So, but some of the cool things, civilian uses.
Okay.
So there's a concept to be able to redirect seismic waves.
Sure.
So you're in San Francisco, and
They could just redirect all of San Francisco.
And you got this earthquake going on, so you got these ripples going through the earth. If you can have a ring, and this has supposedly been tested in France, that absorbs.
And we all know the French are at the cutting edge of everything.
Right, exactly. Not just Bordeaux and Brie wine and cheese, right?
Yeah, right.
So it grabs the seismic wave and it redirects it around the object, screwing your neighbor probably, but your building's safe, right? So interesting stuff, so that's like a great thing. And then here's the other thought, especially if you've ever if you live near high rises where high rises continue to go up, it's like you buy a condo in a high rise, all of a sudden the neighbor-in-law gets approved for another high rise. And boom, goes
I had something similar in Chicago where we were up against two brick buildings. So you got a great view of a brick building, you know?
Right.
Would this help divert the sun to the other windows?
And that's the cool thing, right? So you could wrap a building in the light product that gives you all the sunlight that you had before the building was there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what they look out at. If you're in one of these wrapped buildings, so what do people see? It's actually, and if you go into New York and stuff, a lot of people have telescopes and binoculars. They kind of watch things on the street, people in other buildings, whatever it may be.
Yeah, perverts.
Right? And it's if they don't even see you there, that's even more shocking. That'd be an open ticket for a pervert, that's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That could be used in a bad way as well.
Almost every technology has
it's like
bad actors, right?
Yeah.
So there's always that opportunity.
Let's make dynamite for wells. Yeah, let's make it to kill people.
Right, exactly. So anyways, but those are some of the key things, it's
I should have said for mines, actually.
Right?
I said
for mines,
for wells.
Right? So but yeah, you can wrap the light around a building.
Yeah.
You can protect the building.
Right.
And even if and you could even protect the building from a lot of noise. So, going back to a place like New York where you have this constant hum in a lot of streets, you have a constant hum of traffic and stuff going on.
Sure.
You could actually wrap sound waves around your building. So all of a sudden it's like you're living out in the
that
country.
would be nice. I mean, there's a lot of loud places, especially where you live around an airport or whatever.
Yeah, especially airports. I think more so than a city, just because
as I just heard a plane take off here at this one.
And a city, with the city, you kind of, as long as it's not gunshots, in a city, you get the constant hum of traffic.
Right.
But that becomes background noise. But a plane, that'd be nice to wrap that around there.
Right.
You could increase property values pretty well around airports with
you would hope,
that kind of technology, right?
By the material of your abode.
Right.
Yep.
And it's interesting. So it wraps it around that. So a lot of times sound, hits a thing and gets absorbed.
Uh-huh.
So you're moving it around it. So you're just shooting it down the block. And
yeah.
It becomes someone else's
to the neighbors that can't afford the material that you're building your house out of.
Right, exactly.
Reminds me of the three pigs.
The three pigs. So nature, has a great way of refracting light in itself. I mean, we talked about the water and even through glass and stuff like that. But one of the things that I experienced once was sitting at Lake Michigan and looking across it, and I can see the cities across Lake Michigan. This is 100 miles, 110 miles, and I've never seen them before. And I'm thinking, how did I never see this before? And I'm thinking, wow, that's insane. So I start doing research, and I find this Duluth effect name. And so it's when you have warm air over cold water, which is normally in especially around the Great Lakes, around spring and summer, light will bend around the water, around the body of water, and so all of a sudden you can see, whereas normally I think it's something it's something like every mile you lose 12 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't. Anyways, but when it's bent, all of a sudden it's having really a straight line. You can say, oh, there's that city, there's whatever. I saw two cities in this one particular time. In all my years, being around Lake Michigan, I never saw it except for one time.
Huh.
And it, I mean, it
So the
catches you.
conditions were right.
The conditions were right, and I had to tell you the truth. I continue looking, waiting for that opportunity. So I'll have my phone ready to take a picture.
Yeah.
It's like, so anyways, that's pretty cool. It's, that's really the concept that we
Sure.
talk about when we making things invisible. So really in that,
Well, you get it like
you're making the lake
exhaust
invisible.
on airplanes and
Right.
exhaust on cars. When you look at it, it gives you that distorted effect. I
You
mean,
see light bending.
yeah, right, right.
Right. And with planes especially because
Even
that
chemicals.
exhaust is so hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the light thing, we talked about sound waves. Let's talk about that a little more.
Okay.
So it's the same math as light. You're capturing it and you're moving it around. Phononic crystals is what the technology is being called to accomplish this. It's the acoustic version of Metamaterials.
Uh-huh.
Uses some of the uses that you could use it for, soundproofing concert halls, like
Sure.
we talked about, protecting a building from sound, silent submarines, and noise barrier. Like just creating noise barriers that redirect, not just absorb sound. And so you pass it down the block,
along the
right?
highway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
So now you build. You see.
Now they're building these
municipalities
brick
building
walls to block that
the big
sound. Maybe
walls,
this could be a cheaper material for them to do that.
It's funny, and close to me, and this is funny because close to me, there are some sound walls, and if you go like half mile east, actually more than that, probably like 3/4 of a mile east, there's a road and it's on a hill, and you can hear the expressway
All the way over there.
clearly. But when you're
'Cause it's
when you're a
bouncing
block
over it.
away from it, you don't hear it at all. But so it's really just throwing it up over into that community.
Right, right. Hey, screw your neighbor.
Right, exactly. Right. So, anyways, but there are a lot of different uses for all this stuff, right? I mean, military is like the first thing a lot of people think of. They think of robbing banks, I guess, and then they think about military.
I didn't even think about robbing banks.
You're just too pure.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
but when you think about the military uses, if you could be out there, I mean, supposing you're like on the battlefield, not that people really go on battlefields much anymore, but maybe we could use it in Iran right now. So it's like, you're in an invisibility cloak. You can walk in and you can just take out your opponent.
Yeah, your enemy.
Right? It's like,
I'm sure they do that now. I mean, there's like hiding in the dark,
Right.
and
but what if you used it?
shadows.
What if your kid used it for playing soccer or something?
He scored. Where is he?
I'm open.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so stealth technology. Obviously, we have some of that stuff already.
Yeah.
You were talking about there's some stealth technology.
Yeah,
on planes.
one of the keys in that stealth technology is the paint, and the paint is got, I guess,
reflective.
Yeah, it's got silver flakes in it, real silver, and that's what reflects that.
Is that what the stealth bombers are? Or?
Yep.
Okay, so that reflects it. So that's just shooting it back out to space so you don't see it or whatever. You don't detect it. This is wrapping it around it, where you just it just goes down to the ground or whatever.
Right.
However it's seen. So there's that, but it's radar invisibility.
Yeah.
That's big stuff, number one. But then HyperStealth, the company already covers the thermal and the infrared type of cloaking with some of their technologies. So invisible radar.
The infrared thing gets me because it's like picking up on like body heat, right?
Right. And can you imagine that for criminals?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
police are now using these drones with infrared to track criminals at night.
You'll put this stuff over my head and the helicopter's not going to see me.
You can't see me. No.
Right.
So that's really interesting. So not to go down that criminal path.
See, I'm pure.
We'll keep it as a higher level discussion here. So anyways, but cloaked drone swarms. Can you imagine if you have a bunch of drones? These aren't the drones that I fly. Obviously, these are the big ones that can carry weapons and bombs.
Sure,
and stuff.
right.
You could fly into enemy territory unseen, unheard, do your business, and fly back.
Right.
That's like undefendable technology.
Right.
So, so I don't know. I mean, it's like, do you think?
So is there any discussion? I mean, this could be like literally change the face of war as well.
Because after World War II, we had the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
And that kind of put us in these rules of engagement.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
Which I always wondered. I'm like, how is there rules of engagement in war? Isn't it who?
When only some of our adversaries could be counted on using
I'm
it,
like,
right?
yeah, because they're not going to. Yeah, I mean, we know they're not going to use the same
Right.
rules of engagement that we use.
And it's almost like, you know, when we look at that, when
It's
we like,
humane
say,
war, Chris.
You know, we're not going to do this. We're not going to like create. We're going to try not to create collateral damage. You know, whereas you know some of our adversaries, we're just going to take out as many people as we can.
Yeah.
Whether they're innocent, they're babies, women, whatever. You know, so. But yeah, so what if all of a sudden you're invisible? You know, what are the rules going to be like? I don't think you can do much about that because you know what? I mean, obviously drones are like a big part of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. And drones are a big thing with Iran. You want to trust them to follow the Geneva Convention?
No.
You know, we can't put our hands
You know,
behind
this
our
is
back.
like the fly on the wall effect, right? You know, if
Right.
you know when you always said to your friends, like, "Man, if I could be a fly on that wall,"
Right.
you know, and listen in, you
Right.
know? Yeah,
So, you know, so within a decade, you know, there should be a human scale invisibility, science is saying.
man.
So it's coming our way. I mean, we see a lot of technology moving really quickly these days. I think AI is helping us get there too, because it can think so much faster than a lot of humans
Sure.
and solve, you know, look at things holistically. But yeah, so what would you do if you were invisible?
Man, I don't know. I'd be listening in on people. I'd be wandering around without people seeing me.
Would you
I'd
go
go
out
to
and
the
like
mall.
trip some of your enemies out on the street?
Nah.
They're walking down the street like,
I don't
make
have
this
any
bastard
enemies.
fall.
Everyone's my friend.
Oh, there you go. So would you could like sit in your front yard and then like
Drink a beer,
and-
then pitch the beer
well, then they
overhead and
right,
fall
exactly.
into the ground. Where's
I was
that beer
thinking
coming
water balloon,
from?
but yeah, we could chuck a beer at them, right? Like the
I'd
jerk in the
scare
neighborhood
my
walks
wife,
by.
you know, like
I'd be like, yeah.
But-
You could use that as a good excuse. They're like, where were you? I'm like, I was sitting in the backyard. I had my
I
cloak
was
on. You
watching
just didn't see
TV,
me.
baby.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the bar.
Well, you know, as usual, you know, another crazy Jamie and Chris show. You know, this was a
Right.
short one, but an interesting one. You know, like what would you guys do if you could be invisible? You know, we're looking for some input here.
Would you be out there? Would you be a force for good out there?
Yeah.
Would you use it to enrich yourself? What
Yep.
if you can control the lottery balls as they're dropping and no one sees?
Clink, clink. Yeah, it's my number.
Right.
Where did he come from?
It's like the ultimate power. So, well, thank
Yeah.
you for watching.
Yeah, like and subscribe, and let us know what shows you'd like to see. Thanks. Have a good night.